I'm not apologizing for shit. If I read a book that's one of your favorites and I hate it and I say I hate it and I drag the shit out of it, that's just, it is what it is. I'm feeling like this is gonna be a 5-star for me. I don't feel like setting up this camera. You see, it's not in the stand. I ain't dealing with it. I'm ready for some mess. Bring the drama. I watched plenty of videos of people dragging my favorite books and I don't give a shit. It personally won't affect my experience with that book. It won't change how I feel about that book. Hang it up, baby. Hang it up. And Ube said, I'm not broken. I'm already whole. Tefly, you already know. New favorite trope has been unlocked. Presentation is really important, and anyone could be reading that and be having a similar disability, and to just be seeing somebody that you drew a connection with just be magically fixed, and you're not. It's kind of like painful in a way. If he love you, tell him to swipe that card at the nearest bookstore. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm kind of dating someone. You're kind of what? Huh? What's up, dog? But all in all, 3 stars. She's done. She's out of here. I simply don't understand. Good enough, child. Alright, so I am bone dead tired. I just closed out a vlog and I'm here to start another. Your girl has had a creative spark. I always have so many video ideas and I always have such a fun time filming them. I have so many experiment videos coming up. It's late as hell, so you're getting desk light realness, but I'm just here to start this vlog. In this vlog, I'm going to be reading all of the books that I keep seeing on my Instagram. And me personally, I follow a lot of Black bookstagrammers, so I would consider these feed pictures as a part of Bookstagram, but also Black bookstagram. I keep seeing specific books on my feed and they're just so colorful and vibrant and exciting. I've just heard such amazing things about, and Scrib really looked out for your girl because 4 out of 5 of these books are all on Scribd. So I'm going to be basically probably reading 1 book per day, knocking them out, and then the final book I'll be reading physically. So the books that I'll be reading in this vlog is number 1, Love Radio. I've seen this damn cover on like 65% of my feed. I've seen people with their little headphones holding up the book. A lot of people have been receiving copies of it from publishers, so it's just all over my feed right now. I've also keep seeing Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. I have been seeing this book for months and I really want to read it physically because I feel like it's just going to be one of those books where I want to highlight. And I almost, well, my boyfriend almost purchased it for me today because we did go book shopping, but I ended up grabbing some other books. But I'm also going to be listening to that bad boy on audiobook. And I know how Scrib likes to get down. They let you listen to a few great ones, then all of a sudden all them books disappear. I'm going to try to get in where I fit in before they try to pull the plug on me, okay? So that's the second book. The third book is going to be Pet, which is by the same author. I think these will be my first books that I read by them, and I'm going to be reading 2 back to back. This one I'm going to be reading physically because I really like the new covers. I'm also going to be listening to The Sweetest Remedy, which I have seen so many times, and I just love the cover. It's just giving warm, it's just giving island, it's just giving comfort. I'm really excited about that book because I just love the cover. And the final book that I'll be reading is On Rotation. Now this damn book, within the past week, I think I've seen this book like 3 times. So those are the 5 books. 4 of them will be audio, 1 will be physically, because I'm trying to get the books read and get the video out because I have this big experiment that I'm excited to do. Let's start with what I think will be my favorite. What I think is going to be my favorite is probably You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Least favorite will probably be, I think I'm gonna like all of them, honestly, and it's a good mix. I'm a little wary of the YA romance because sometimes I get tired of the YA. Sometimes they don't really deliver with the romance and it just feels like a friendship, and that's okay. I really wish authors would start embracing friendships in books and just leaving it at that. Everybody don't need to be in a relationship, but I'm hopeful. I'm so damn tired. I'm babbling. But yeah, I just want to start this video out, let you guys know what the experimente is. That's it. So I will see you in the next clip. Bye. All right, so I just parked to go pick up food, but I finished Love Radio, and I will sit down and talk to you guys about how I feel about that once I get home and stuff like that. But I just started You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. We're kicking off the first 2 seconds of the audiobook talking about talking about men with thick thighs. Interesting. I'm feeling like this is gonna be a 5-star for me. You know, once you bring thick men into the equation, it just screams 5 shining stars. You don't need to say much else. You don't need to say much else. I'm here for it. Let's go deeper. Let's dive deeper into that. I love thick men. All right, nothing gets better than that. But this book I'm listening to on audiobook, but I know I'm gonna need a physical copy of it because first of all, I love the cover, and I just feel like this book is gonna deliver. I've heard so many good things about it. No one's really spoiled anything about it for me. They just say there's like a forbidden love, and it's very sexy, very steamy, and that this author, they did a really good job as far as the writing and as far as the inks and as far as like the steaminess. So I'm excited. I would love to see it, and the way that this book is starting, yeah, I think it's gonna deliver. It's gonna deliver. So I'll check back in with you guys once I finish this book too. But I still need to update y'all on Love Radio, which I gave 4 stars, but we'll get more into that once I get home and I can sit down and talk to y'all. So all right, so y'all get an iPhone reel. I don't feel like setting up this camera. You see, it's not in the stand. I ain't dealing with it. All right, so I'm like 20% through You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, and bring Milan back. Bring Milan back because what's his name? Nazir, whoever. He is boring as hell. Like, he too nice, he too sweet, he got all the perfect things to say. He doing all this shit. Ain't no way I'm about to be flying somebody out. Flying somebody, I know he's not paying for it, but flying her out to be in a show for her art, and he ain't, and they're not in a relationship, and he doing all this. He's like, oh, well, you deserve it, you deserve it, you deserve it. It's like, he just boring to me. He very dry, and he just like, when he saw her, he was like, I felt something. I felt something when I saw you. What did you feel? Because you were meeting her as your homeboy's little fling, girlfriend, whatever the hell she was now. Nasir, wrap it up. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, because I'm not feeling him. I want him gone. Very boring. I'm ready for some mess. Bring the drama.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Everybody said it get messy and it get drama filled. So I want to know who she about to leave Nasir for, because it was already messy, her talking to him to this island. It got to be somebody in his family, because what we talking about? I'm bored. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. I'm ready for the drama. I'm ready for the intensity. I'm ready for the steam. So that's where we at right now. I just want to give y'all an update. I'll check back in with y'all later. Bye. I'm yet again in my car. Is this a car vlog? It's giving car vlog. So I'm about 50%, I'm gonna say about 55% into You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Pause this video right now. Let me know what y'all think I'm rating this book right now. Let me know what y'all think I'm feeling right now. Let me know. I would love to know. Do the abbreviation of the title and put 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, whatever in the comment section below. I would love to see it. I would love to know before I tell y'all how I'm feeling. Okay, so this book is giving 2 stars. I'm fed up, baby. I'm fed up. Where are we going? Where are we going with this? What are we doing? It's giving very much she's not like other girls. She got the pink hair, she got the gold hair, she got the this, she got the that, but she's so flat. She's so flat. Her character is so flat. Her personality, where did it go? She's an artist, but we don't see her art. It's just, ooh, this is so damn pretty. You want 15 bands for it? And what damn, we're like, I really think I'm not enjoying this because I don't like the main character. I feel like the main character is giving me Queenie in a way. The messiness, the drama, the trauma, the issues she's having. I feel like she's reminding me of Queenie in a way, but I liked Queenie. I enjoyed Queenie's book. It was messy, but she was working through that. I don't know. It's just weird to me. And it's just like, now she's being friends with this dude who is friends with the dude she was on for months. And they call each other friends, but they cuddling and kissing and got all this sexual attention, but they call each other friends. Now you in his daddy house and you still calling him your friend. I don't know what it is. I really think that I love books that have artists in them, but I want to see the art. I want to see the passion. I want to see pieces of when they're doing their drawings and they're doing their sculptures and they're doing their whatever. I want to see that. Or I would like to see something where it's like magical realism, where they're also tying it into real life and mixing that in a way. Kind of how, I think it's called I'll Give You the Sun or something like that. I'll Give You the Sun, the Star, whatever. Where the twin, he was an artist and he would have these descriptions where he was describing a picture and was relating it to life, but it wasn't really happening. Like shit like that I like. It's a little confusing, but it gives you an idea of their mind as an artist. She's just giving me, I'm an artist on page, and not showing me that. Where you showing me that at? What, huh? You an artist on page. Hang it up, baby. Hang it up. Close. Done. It's done. The only thing I'm liking in this book right now is that it's almost over. I like the food in it. I love a good book with some food in it. It's one of my favorite tropes, my favorite things. And because I know a lot of these dishes or a lot of these vegetables and things that they're cooking, I can imagine what it tastes like. I'm loving the food descriptions. And I would have loved to see the way the food is described and the way his passion is with food being described in this book. I would love to see that for her, because everyone is so obsessed and foaming at the mouth over this girl, and I'm not understanding for what. She's so flat to me. I'm not comprehending. I'm not understanding. I want her to stop, pause everything, put a halt, and go get some therapy. I thought I was signing up for some sexcapade, some mess, some drama, some ugly crying main characters where they really come to truth and be honest with themselves. But it's just very flat to me. And I have heard such amazing things about Okweke Emezie's writing. I was so ready. I'm not seeing it. But I got 2 other books in this vlog that's gonna be written by the same author, so I'm excited to see more of their work. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it, because there's a possibility this could turn around. You never know. But once I get into my rant phase, it's no coming back. But I still have like 2 hours left in this audiobook, so who knows what the hell is gonna happen. But right now I just needed to update y'all on how I'm feeling, and I ain't feeling her. So I'll come back and talk to y'all later. Look at my shoes, y'all. Look at how cute. Oh, I'm watching books with Chloe. She in the background. I got my Tefli. You already know. Final updates. My desk is a mess. What is new? Oh, my boyfriend actually took me book shopping yet again. You already know. If he love you, tell him to swipe that card at the nearest bookstore. Doesn't matter if it's a used bookstore, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. We ain't picky around her. So this was my first time going to Books A Million, and he got me 3 books. They had so many paperbacks. I was so happy to see that. But I got Amari and the Night Brothers, I got Ray Bearer, and I got Wicked Fate, which is the second book in the Poison Hearts series. I'm so damn excited for this book. I was really pleased with the writing in this book and the direction it took. I'm really excited for it. And this cover, hello. Cover is gorgeous. I've been wanting to read this. I really wanted to get this hardcover. That sticker gotta go immediately. I was looking for this at my library, but I haven't found it, so I was glad to see that. And those are the books. I'm gonna give y'all my final thoughts on You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. All in all, she is a 2-star. The only reason I'm not giving it 1 star is because the author is black, and it had snippets of things that I appreciated. So the things that I appreciated was, number one, that damn cover. That cover is gorgeous. I'm so upset that it will not be touching my shelf. The professions of love and how poetic it felt, the way that they spoke to each other, that was really well done. I also liked the honesty in this book. There were things that were difficult to swallow, and it wasn't just all tied up with a pretty ribbon. Like, it started messy, ended messy, everything in between was messy, and you know, it wasn't just like a, oh, this is happening, let's just tie it up with a pretty bow. It is what it is. It was a hot ass mess. Everything didn't end perfectly and beautifully the way that some books like to do. I appreciated that. I also appreciated towards the end of the book, they started talking more about her art. Let me lock this. This glare is kind of bothering me a little bit. Oh, I gotta take my glasses off, child. Racking my brain for any piece of symbol. Like, please. That's it. So now let's step into my final thoughts. Final thoughts. What's her name? Faye? What the hell was her name? Faye? Whatever the hell her name is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The main character, she was so damn flighty. I don't know how the love interest felt comfortable even entering a relationship with her, with how flighty she is. Every person in her life is somebody that she slept with, and then all of a sudden they're friends. It's very odd to me. Like, I didn't really see any platonic friendships and healthy without some mess being tied to it. And I love some good mess, but I just feel like it was unnecessary. It just was like every single corner, mess, or some type of a sexual attraction to the person that she's supposed to be friends with. Why can't you just have some platonic friends? I want this to be a rant, so let me try to wrap this up quickly. She felt flat. I didn't believe the romance. The romance didn't give me that butterfly, like, tingly feeling. I didn't even feel the lust between them. It just happened like a damn car wreck. You know what? Good for her. Good for her. But I personally didn't understand the hype surrounding this main character. She felt very flat to me. And then the art, you know, I don't want to tap too much into the art because I know as far as artists are concerned, everyone's entitled to expressing and showing how they feel in their own way. But, and I'm not really a part of the art community. I love art, I love prints. But me personally, for someone to be spending 15 bands on some art with real blood in it, and they're just saying, yeah, I'm okay with it, give me something that's gonna rot. Why would you want to spend 15 bands on some shit that's gonna have your house being funky? You want your house to be funky? You gonna spend 15 bands on a piece of art that has bodily fluids in it that's gonna have some type of smell? I simply don't understand. I don't know if there's art out there that's like that. If it is, that's good on them. But for me personally, why? Turn to a rant. Let me shut the hell up. But I don't get it. I simply don't understand. She's so damn flighty. It's like as soon as this relationship ties into each other, all of a sudden she want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. I don't have to be here. It's just nothing felt stable with her. I want her to work through some therapy where she can stay in something and it be stable. Every person you slept with or has some messy ass situation with, why do they then have to turn into somebody that you keep a part of your life? Why would you want that? Why? I don't get why some books can't just have somebody that you just smash and dash. I don't get why everything got turned into endgame. Everybody got to be in a relationship, la-di-da, fla-fa-fla. I don't get it. Also, all throughout this book, every time you turn around, she's talking to herself. Is this real? Is this real? Is this really happening? This has to be a dream. This can't be real. Baby, it's real. It's real. I was so tired of hearing her saying, is this real? Is this real? Is this really happening? This can't be real. It's real, baby. Okay? It's real and it's your life and you stuck up in some mess. What was the point of all of this? I was so excited to read Akwaeke Emeze's work because I've heard such amazing things about their writing, and I'm still excited because I still have 2 other books that I need to read by them. But wow, I did not think the first thing that I read by them would be 2 stars. Like That's all I gotta say about that. That's it. I'm done. I don't want to say nothing else because we'll turn to a rant. This video is gonna be 6 hours long. Next book that I'm gonna start reading is going to be On Rotation. I was gonna start reading it today, but I'll probably start tomorrow. I just need a break from I need a break. I do need to say this. I'm here to tell you, I know a lot of booktubers like to give disclaimers and cradle y'all into being okay with them dragging your favorite book. I'm here to tell you, I'm not that booktuber. I really am not. I'm just not. I don't give a shit. I feel like everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I'm not gonna argue with nobody about no damn book or nothing that don't affect my bag. If a book that is in this vlog is one of your personal favorites, good on you. It should continue to stay your favorite. I'm not going to give a disclaimer and say your book is your favorite book and if I don't like it then I apologize. I'm not apologizing for shit. If I read a book that's one of your favorites and I hate it and I say I hate it and I drag the shit out of it, that's just, it is what it is. You know, I watched plenty of videos of people dragging my favorite books and I don't give a shit. It personally won't affect my experience with that book. It won't change how I feel about that book, and that's just what it is. I'm just telling y'all how I feel about the book when I read it, and that's just what it is. Period. Anyway, I'm not trying to go off on y'all, nothing like that, but anyway, yeah, I'm just here to let y'all know. Ain't no disclaimers on Capri's Book Island, baby. It's just what I feel is what I feel, what I don't feel is what I don't feel. So, we have 2 books down. First book, 4 stars. Second book was 2 stars. Third book is On Rotation. I'm gonna predict to be a 3-star. I feel like it's just gonna be a little bit of a mix in this book. I'm really excited to read Bitter and Pet. Those are the 2 books that I'm really excited to read. Probably gonna focus on Rotation and making sure I finish that tomorrow. I will check back in with you guys then. Bye. What's up, y'all? Oh, my chopsticks is crooked. Y'all getting the end of the day look. This look has been an entire day. Look what came in the mail today. Look what came in the mail. I thought this was coming out in July. I didn't know it was already out. I'm so excited to read this. Forgot to update you guys on how I felt about Love Radio. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so I really don't have anything really to say that I didn't like about it, so I feel like I should probably start with that. All in all, I gave Love Radio 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook. Your girl is really vibing with the fast ass audiobook. It's so funny because a while ago I did a video of trying to interpret what audiobooks were saying when they were on like 2 or 3 times speed, and my brain just like could not compute and now it's like 2 times speed. I could actually go up more. If there was like a 3 times speed, I probably could do that as well. Listened to it on audiobook, gave it 4 stars, loved it. So I feel like I should probably tell you guys the things I didn't like about it, because everything else is things that I loved. The only thing that I didn't like about this book was their age. I felt like these characters felt older than they actually were. Like these were supposed to be like 16, 17, 18-year-olds that were like a part. The main character, his name is Prince Love Jones. He's like the radio personality of an advice column. So he gives like advice, people call in, he gives advice, and then he plays music. The advice that he was given, I just simply don't see a 16, 17, 18-year-old giving that type of advice. I don't remember how old he was, but they were teenagers. And I simply don't see no damn teenager giving that type of advice. Like, there are people that have old souls and that have been through a lot and were forced to grow up quickly. He's in an environment where he kind of was, in a way, had to grow up faster than he should have. Did say that he does his research and stuff like that. But that kind of advice, I just would have preferred for them to be in their early 20s. I feel like if they were like 24 to like 26, I would have probably liked it better. For it to be YA, they definitely felt older. Even the girl in this book, she definitely felt older as well. It just felt like they were in their 20s, and I just wish authors would just warm up to the idea of having some young adults in college, or having some young adults that aren't in college, that are in their mid-20s or whatever. People be holding on tight to these teenagers in high school and stuff like that, but then make them feel so grown. Everything else is things that I like. So first of all, I love the cover. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. It's so adorable. The next thing that I liked was the complexity of both characters. They were really well fleshed out. You got to see their upbringing, you got to see their family, you got to see their friends, you got to see the type of situations that they were in and things that they had to deal with. It was just really well done because you really got a good feel of both characters. I also love his name because if you don't know, Love Jones is like a 90s old school black romance that everybody has seen. Prince Love Jones, it's just so cute. Like, his name was just so cute. It worked. I'm not gonna lie, it worked. It was just adorable. It goes really well with his charm and his personality and the persona he was putting on for the radio show. His name kind of tied into it as well. I also like that anytime that they would reference the radio show, they didn't put lyrics in books. I'm starting to realize that I don't like when books have like music in it and they like quote the music. It really don't hit the same. New favorite trope has been unlocked. The guy helped the girl take down her hair, her box braids, because baby, this shit takes forever. Like, to be doing it alone, it takes forever. This is like, I think this is like the third book that I've read recently where the trope is like the guy or the love interest helps the girl take down her box braids. We love to see it. We love to see it. I like that he was clumsy. I like that he had this whole persona of like who he was on the radio and everybody was like drooling over him or whatever. But he was like clumsy and lactose intolerant and stammered over his words, and sometimes he couldn't get his point across, or sometimes he wouldn't know what to do in certain situations, but he gave really good advice. I just love that. Like, I love that he wasn't like this perfect person. He had, you know, small little imperfections or things that just made him not so perfect, which made you like him more. I really like when the female main character is a little bit like uptight and her love interest like loosens her up a little bit, or like gives her, you know, shines a different light on her life and stuff like that. It reminds me of Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl, because the main character in this book was she was a little uptight, a little static. I really enjoyed it. He was sweet, it was cute, it was a cute little love story. I wish they were in like their earlier mid-20s because they definitely felt older. The only time that it showed that they were younger was when they were around their friends, and some of the conversations they would have, I'd be like, oh yeah, they're teenagers. But like, it could have easily still been a young adult in their 20s. And I'm glad that I liked it because I really wanted to get this book because I love the cover. So I will see you guys in the next clip. Come up. Alright, I ain't gonna wait for your ass forever. Alright, y'all. I have, oh, let me take my glasses off, child. Alright, so I have started On Rotation, and how far am I in? So basically I'm 50% through On Rotation, listening to it on audiobook. She's okay. She's fine. I think she's one of the books that no one has read, because I just feel like, well, I'm not understanding what's so spectacular about it, but I kept seeing this damn book on my feed. It's okay. That's all I can say about it. I'm gonna tell you guys some of the things that I like about it. There's 3 things that I like about it. Number 1, I like the fact that she's a doctor. We get to see kind of a peek of her day-to-day, and she's trying to become a doctor. She didn't have an easy path to get... Child, that's Pebs jumping in her tank. Y'all can see her. They have an easy path of getting into being a doctor, and she's still working on actually being a doctor. So it's interesting to see her second guess her scores and trying to make it and trying to figure out what she's going to write about to be accepted in and all that. Just like the background of her job is very interesting. I also appreciate that there is a non-binary character. It's her best friend's love interest, I believe. And I also like the culture aspect, but she's Ghanaian. I'm saying it wrong, but it's okay. Why can't I say that? I'm just gonna put it on the screen because, yeah, we're gonna put it on the screen. Bam! And I like seeing her culture because it's talking about like the marriage proposal and like the different steps they follow, which is really interesting to me, and like their funeral practices, their wedding ceremonies, her parents and what they expect of her as well, which is very common, especially eldest daughters. Like, I feel like eldest daughters are across the spectrum just be having it hard. I feel like it's just an okay book. The love interest, he's just dry. I can't tell if he's supposed to be a love interest or if he's supposed to be her friend. I don't know what the hell is going on. Also, in the beginning of this book, he had a whole girlfriend. If I ever find out a man that I'm dating goes out and meet someone casually in the park, but she was crying when he met her, so he felt bad. But all of a sudden y'all going on a whole day excursion of activities, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm kind of dating someone. You're kind of what? Huh? What's up, dog? You're kind of doing what? You're kind of dating someone and you're in my face. I'm confused. Why is that something that's happening? Like, the audacity. I mean, I don't know if him and this girl were official because it kind of was like touch and go, but how are you dating somebody and you buying funnel cake and shit for somebody else that you just met? That shit is weird. Those are just some fighting words. It just seems like she just hates men. Like every step. A lot of these books nowadays are just giving they hate men, which is like to a certain extent understandable, but sometimes it's just overdone. It's like, can you relax? I don't even know how to explain it, but I just feel like a lot of these books nowadays are just like so focused on we hate men, whatever. And it's like, no, y'all don't. Y'all actually don't hate men. I feel like she's a little uptight. I don't know, I like the girl main characters when they're a little bit uptight and they find somebody that helps them let loose a little bit, but she just like uptight, bitter, and hates men. And I'm like, sis, what is going on? I kind of wanted to understand more about like her past relationships, because in the beginning a lot it goes back to like her past relationships and why they didn't work out, but it kind of just seemed like the way she's explaining it, it just seems like the guy got tired of her or was sick of her or whatever. It just would be like she would just talk so highly of what happened in the beginning of the relationship, and then all of a sudden she would be like, oh, but he got tired of that, or oh, but he got sick of me when, right, dog? Right, momish? You're so cute. So cute. You're a little cutie. Whatever you're aggravated about, I'm sure you're justified in, but it's just giving bitter. It's giving bitter, babes. I thought this was a romance, and I was very interested to read this because I love main characters that are older siblings, because I'm the oldest and everything. Honestly, I'm starting to be a little more crucial with my ratings. Goodreads still has not given us half-star ratings, but this is really giving 2.753. That's where I'm at. Such a cutie pie. Just say bye, though. Say bye to the people. She's too busy looking at me. I kind of want to read Pet too, but I think I'm just going to read Bitter, and then I'm going to read Love and Color. So those are the last two books of this vlog. So I will catch up with you guys when I finish those last two. Bye.
Damn, you look good, girl. Hell yeah, Scotty. Hello. Nah?
She is fine. She is fine. This my woman.
Oh my god, baby gone. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just here to film a update clip for the last book that I read, which was On Rotation. All in all, I gave it a 3-star. Really, it's like a 2.75 for me. It just I also like seeing the peppering in of complex friendships. I feel like her and her friend had a little bit of an issue in this book, but it didn't overshadow everything else. I also like that they tapped into racial injustices in the medical field, as far as people taking black patients, and well, mainly black patients, but patients of color, not taking them seriously or not listening to them when they're in pain. But I really like romance books that have dual perspectives, because I get 2 points of views. Being in her head for like 7 hours was a lot. It was a lot. I was getting tired of her ass, because it wasn't just her perspective, it was also her thoughts, because the way that it was written, it kind of was like her talking to herself in a way in certain parts, and it kind of got annoying because it was just like, girl, relax. She was being so whiny and so, and I was just like, relax, girl. Just go with the flow. Like, I get all the pressures and the issues that she has to deal with, because obviously I'm a black woman and I'm, you know, I understand. But some of the shit, I was just like, listen, you gotta let up. Some shit you gotta let go. Like, truly let it go. I also couldn't tell if this was gonna turn into a damn romance or if they were just gonna be friends. Like, half of the time it felt like they were gonna just end it in friendship, but then it was really confusing because the love interest, he had just gotten out of like a 3-year relationship, so he was still struggling with you know, dating her, because it's like he just got out of a serious relationship. He doesn't know if he's ready to step into that field again. But say that. Like, what are we doing? Y'all frolicking through the daisies and shit, and you're not being clear about what you want and what you don't want. You're giving her mixed signals, and I'm just following along for the ride, and I'm like, bruh. And then on top of that, you know how there's a third act breakup in every damn romance book. This one had 2 third act breakups. I was just fed up. I was ready for it to be over. Honestly, I really think it would have been better if we got dual perspectives and a little bit less of being in her head, because all of the small things that were added into the story I enjoyed, as far as her parents, as far as his parents. His father struggled with addiction. That was really interesting to see that hardship as far as their family goes. Both completely different cultures. Friendships were involved. The LGBTQA community was involved as well. It was just really good, but it just was, just only being in her head was my biggest issue, because sometimes I was ready for her to shut the hell up and she would not. Also, like, that anime was added into this. Like, the main character really liked anime, cartoons, and stuff like that. I thought that was cute. One of my notes says, honestly, Ricky. I was just so confused. He was so confusing, and then he had so much shit going on in his personal life. I was like, can y'all just break up and bring it back together? Because, like, what are we doing? So that's all of my thoughts on the book on rotation. I still would recommend this book, because I've seen so many raving reviews over this book on Bookstagram, and someone actually DM'd me today and was like, oh, I just finished it today and I loved it, but they read it physically. So I'm like, is it because I listened to it on audiobook and I got sick of hearing her ass? Because you always wonder that whenever you listen to something on audiobook. But all in all, 3 stars. She's done. She's out of here. So I'm gonna read Bitter, which I have to actually buy because I don't have the physical copy. And then the last one I think is gonna be Love and Color, which will hopefully be refreshing, because I've seen that a lot on my feed too, and it seems like everybody's loving it. I'm most excited for Bitter though. The first book that I read by them was a flop. Yeah, no. So hopefully, I'm hoping that Bitter goes better, because I'm excited for that book. I saw a lot about it a few years ago when everybody was reading Pet. So the prequel to that is out now, so I'm going to start with that and see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well. But that's all I have for you guys for update. I'll see y'all with the next 2 books. Bye. Hello, another update. So I'm currently listening to Love and Color, Mythical Tales from Around the World Retold. So it's basically a ton of like short story retellings, and I thought it was African short story retellings because of the cover for some reason. I don't know why, I just assumed that. So I've been listening to it and it was going so well. So the first half of the book was like, the retellings were kind of like poetic and like beautiful and magical, and like, you know, it made you really think. The second half, like the last like 2 or 3 stories, have felt like romance books, where it's like you have 2 main characters and they're both interested in each other and they're in specific settings, and like some of them are enemies to lovers, some of them are whatever. Like the last few stories have been like that, and they're so long and so not interesting. Like the way that the first half of the book was written was so beautiful, and I think my favorite one so far was the one between 2 warriors and the Nefertiti retelling. Those are my favorite. First half of the book had me just so sure I was gonna give it 4 stars, but this second half, I'm just like, do y'all really want to wrap up all the short stories and make them ass? Like, shouldn't, like, I would assume that you would have like 1 great story and then 1 okay story and then, like, you know, every other one. But to have all the phenomenal short stories in the first half of the book, it just like hypes you up, and then you get to the end and you're just like, oh. Like the end just feels like a whole bunch of short romance books, and I don't care enough about any of those characters to give a shit about what they have even going on. Yeah, they're pretty bad. The first half is like 4 stars, but depending on how this ends, I think I have like an hour. I have like hour and 10 minutes left in this audiobook, and depending on how it wraps up, it'll probably end up being like a 3.5 or a 3 star, because I don't know what the hell is going on with these last few stories. But yeah, so I will talk with you guys later, and once I finish this book, I will only have one book left, which will be Bitter. So I will talk to you guys once I finish this book, and once I start Bitter, I will talk to you guys then. I if I could just put y'all here. Oh, without putting the stand on. Woo! What's up? So today my plan is to just edit, which is gonna be, I'm gonna be editing the mid-year freakout tag and relaxing and reading. So the last book of this video is going to be Akwaeke Emeze's book called Bitter. So that's going to be the final Instagram book of this video. I'm really excited since this is going to be the first physical book for this vlog. But your girl is going to Panery because that's my spot, okay? I know the girlies love Starbucks and all that, and I like Starbucks too, it's straight. But for me personally, Panery's coffee is stronger and I love their breakfast. I'm gonna show y'all my go-to breakfast option so I can put y'all on real quick, okay? Let me show y'all my go-to Panery order. Let me mix her up. Usually I get a chai tea latte, but lately they've been putting too much chai in them damn coffees, and it just makes it taste nasty. It just tastes like I'm like drinking like some kind of syrup. So I started getting, let's see, I started getting the iced vanilla latte with whipped cream on top, and it's strong and it's good. That's my go-to right now. And the Capri sandwich, which I'm naming it myself, is a breakfast sandwich that I get every time I go to Panery. Let me show y'all. Look at that. Ooh, I gotta show y'all close up now. I gotta get into this. All right, this is the breakfast sandwich that I get every time I go to Panera. So what it is is it's a modified version of the egg white avocado spinach breakfast sandwich. The bread they put on this is nasty as hell. Don't nobody want to eat that flat ass wheat bread, and then they put all that stuff inside of it, a whole bunch of vegetables. The bread just be soggy and nasty. So what I do is I put chipotle sauce. Is forgotten every time because they be forgetting my chipotle sauce and I'm not playing with them. All right, but what I do is take away that nasty ass wheat bread, that flat ass wheat bread. I take it away. I replace it with an Asiago bagel. As you can see, a nice thick bagel right here. And then, oh, chipotle, that's on the side. The Gouda cheese, which is on top, the egg white, which is in there, or sometimes I do runny egg because, you know, runny egg girls stand up. I like my eggs to run with the yolk, and that's about it. Everything else that's in here is just automatically from the other sandwich. You gotta have the chipotle sauce because it really makes it, you know, it just ties all the veggies together. Okay, I'm trying to put y'all on. Get the chipotle sauce, put it on your bagel, and then you also have spinach, tomato, and avocado, and that's what I do. Get it and try it and let me know if you like it. I had to grab my tabs, child, because something just happened and I feel like this is a book that I could easily annotate. Look how beautiful this cover is. Wow. Alright, y'all, coming to y'all natural, no makeup. Yeah. Oh, let me turn this light off. Actually, I hate when lights be on. I just finished the final book of this video, which is Bitter by Akwaeke Emeze, and I gave it 4 stars. It was a really, really good book. I kind of went into this not really knowing what it was about. I remember a lot of people talking about Pet, but I just remember them referencing monsters and referencing like this abstract world and stuff like that. But I didn't really look too much into it, and I still haven't read Pet yet, but this is the prequel to the book Pet. I'm really glad I picked this up because now I have understanding of the world and where everything is sprouted from. Drawing connections to like the real world where we're dealing with racial injustices and police murders, obviously police brutality, Black Lives Matter, stuff like that. But there are a group of people who are fighting back, so potentially there is in a way, a war between civilians and the upper patriarchy. And a lot of people are getting sick of it, and there are these artists that are within this world that draw a connection to another world that can bring in angels that will protect them or stop these injustices from happening. It does not come without a cost. So our main character is Bitter, and oh, this cover is so beautiful. I'm so glad I like this book because the cover is gorgeous. I keep getting all these gorgeous covers and not liking the books, but this cover is absolutely gorgeous. Earlier in the year, I was having a hard time reading fantasy books that were referencing too much to slavery and referencing too much to like racial injustices, police brutality, like just everything that Black people personally have to deal with. I was just getting tired of like the connection being drawn to that. Sometimes it's difficult to consume, especially when it's a world that I find comfort in. Obviously reading is something I find comfort in, and just seeing those connections being drawn to like the real world, it's like there's no escape in a way. So I just kind of got overwhelmed. Because this is the final book of this video, I just want to give you guys a little back brief on how I feel about the book. The good, the bad, the ugly. Here I go with my notebook. Y'all know I got like 50 of these. But okay, let's start talking with the bad. The one thing that this wasn't a bad thing, but I kept messing up one of the characters' name. His name was Aloe, and I kept calling him Aoli. Like I think maybe like 80 pages in is when I kept telling myself, Capri, this man's name is Aloe, not Aioli. Aioli is a sauce for food, and I kept calling him Aioli. I don't know why. The angel is brought forth to bring vengeance, address the injustices within this world. And low-key, I'm not gonna lie, I agree with the angels. Like, I know the only thing that I felt was like, okay, the angels were willing to do anything to make the world a better place, but at the same time, when they did things to make the world a better place, it kind of brought the question forth, like, okay, well, can we trust them? Like, how do we know once they do everything that they feel is right and justice is brought forth that they won't turn on us? You know, like it's like you couldn't really be like, yes, justice is finally served, and then turn around and trust these same angels that did this, you know? So like in a way, I did kind of understand how the angels felt, and I felt like they were like morally gray because like what they were doing was for a specific reason, but at the same time it's like, if they could do this, how do we know that they won't turn on us? And the only thing that I really can say that I didn't really like was whenever Bitter and her love interest, who was Aloe, whenever they got into an argument, they would never fix the problem. Like they got into like 3 arguments in this book, and every time they got into an argument, the ending would be open-ended. Like they wouldn't solve the issue they had at hand. Their communication was like right there. Like they really would sit down and talk about the issue they had with each other, but they wouldn't fix the problem. The thing that I loved the cover. As I've already said, there was great representation in this book. There was disability rep, there was LGBTQIA plus rep, there was non-binary rep. I like the connections drawn between like Black spirituality and natural remedies and just like small things to protect your mental health and protect your body and heal your body. There was gardening involved. There also was like a great found family aspect as far as the eucalyptus school, which was full of all of the artists, the Asada community, which was full of all of the protesters and people that were fighting back. So both of those found families were really different, but they were also both wholesome in their own way. I also love their names. Their names were Aloe, their name was Blessing, Bitter, Vengeance, Virtue, like just all of their names Some of them were like kind of normal names, like, you know, Mr. Nelson, Alex, stuff like that. There were kind of some similar names in there, but like the main characters, I felt like they had names that were connected to an emotion or a specific thing. The fact that Aloe's name is something that heals the body, and he also was a healer, just like those small connections, I really liked. I really loved the art, the descriptions of the art in this book, because you could vividly see like what was being drawn, how the person felt when they were doing it, and the way that emotions were tied into their art. I also like a lot of the quotes in this book. There was a ton of quotes that I tabbed, which if you can't see, I don't know if you guys can see, but I tabbed the hell out of this book. The purple tabs are for strong quotes. I also like that there were different points of views for the topic at hand. Like, they were dealing with a specific social injustice, but there were people that wanted to fight and were willing to be out on the front lines. There were also people that wanted to fight, but they didn't want to be on the front lines and putting themselves in danger. Then there was also people that wanted to help those that were fighting. Small ways and how the issue was addressed and how each person dealt with it. There was a really strong moment in this book that I really loved. One of the main characters, his name was Ube, and he was the leader of the Asada group, the group of protesters that were fighting back towards the social injustice. And he is disabled, so he is in a wheelchair, and one of the angels has, all of the angels have the ability to heal. So throughout the book, you see them heal people with a cut or heal people with a bruise, or someone is like, you know, in some type of pain, and they would heal them. So one of the angels saw Ube and was like, oh, do you want to be healed? And Ube said, I'm not broken. I'm already whole. And I don't know why, but just that part was just like so beautiful, because in a lot of books that I've read, or a lot of fantasy books, or any books, basically mainly in fantasy books, there are these options to be healed or to be temporarily fixed or whatever for these disabled characters. And it's just like, why can't they just be disabled? Like, why can't that representation still stand in the book? And I like that he stood his ground. Like, he didn't even question it. I've always had an issue with fantasy books that have a disabled main character or a disabled character, and they just magically heal them and then they're back like no longer disabled. I didn't like that, because I felt like representation is really important, and anyone could be reading that and be having a similar disability, and to just be seeing somebody that you drew a connection with just be magically fixed and you're not. It's kind of like painful in a way. So I just really like that he stood his ground with that, and that was like just my favorite part of the book. Everything that I felt about the book, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I'm really excited to pick up Pet, and I will come back to you guys so I can close out this video. I already have it mostly edited. I just have to put these last few clips in, so this is gonna be a long one. You already know how I get down. Yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye. I'm about to close out this video, which is basically me trying out books that I keep seeing on my Instagram, whether or not I can trust my Instagram. Let's look at the stats. So altogether, I read 5 books. For Love Radio, I gave it a 4 out of 5. For Love and Color, I gave it a 3.5. For Bitter, I gave it a 4.5. For On Rotation, I gave it a 3 out of 5. And for You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, I gave it a 2 out of 5. So the average between all 5 of those books is a 3.3 average rating out of 5, which is like, it really does sum up how I feel about this experiment. It really was like a 3.3 average experiment. So do I trust Bookstagram? I do trust Bookstagram, obviously, because I'm a mood reader and I was more in a fantasy mood. It made it a little difficult for me to enjoy these books. Nevertheless, all of my critiques as far as these books were concerned were justified. I still was able to rate these books how I feel like I would have rated them regardless. So all in all, my favorite book out of these 5 would have to be Bitter, because, and I'm just so glad it was the last book that I read, because it really closed out this video on a high note. So I'm very grateful for this video helping me find this book. My least favorite read out of all of these books would have to be You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. Now the crazy part is both of these books are written by the same author. You guys already know how I feel about both of these books. It is what it is. So my overall experience with this experiment was it was okay. Like, I had a good time reading. I felt like I had a really good pace with reading these books. I had a really good time listening to the audiobooks and then wrapping it up with a physical read. I feel like if I read all of these physically, I would have been more exhausted. So I'm very, very, very grateful for audiobooks. So Scribd, if you're out there, sponsor your girl, thank you. I feel like if I did this again, I would probably do it based off of specific genres or different genres. So it would either be like, okay, trying Bookstagram books but only fantasy books, or trying Bookstagram books again, but I would do 5 different genres. It wouldn't be all the same, because I feel like all 5 of these were heavy on romance, and I enjoy romance, but I'm not a romance girly. I'm a fantasy girl, so I feel like my experience with fantasy might be better. So all in all, would I do this experiment again? Yes. I wasn't really thinking about genres when I made this list. I kind of was just like looking at my feed to see what books I kept seeing over and over and over again. But I had a good time. I'm grateful for the experiment, and I'm glad that it's over because now I can read whatever else I want to read. So that's all I have to say about this experiment video. It's one of the first of many. I have so many ideas and videos coming up for you guys. I hope you're super excited for them. If you made it to the end of this video, please leave some kind of artistic thing in the comment section below, i.e. a paintbrush, a canvas, painted picture, or like anything to do with art, because the last book that I read for this video was Bitter, and it's heavy on the art side. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see me do another video like this, and what theme you feel like I should go with next, because I feel like fantasy should be next. I keep seeing a lot of thriller books as well, and I don't read too many thriller books, so if you would like to see me try that out, let me know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Always remember, read a book, keep your life interesting, and I will see you next time. Bye. That's the end of the video, the end of the experiment. Bye.